Hi, HRN listeners. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary, and we have a really fun campaign and an ask for you. This 15th anniversary tour is aiming to bring you closer to unique food and music experiences in some of the most exciting cities in America. All the while, we're raising funds to support our work empowering the next generation of food systems storytellers through our fellowship programs. Here's how it works. Donate to HRN and be entered into a raffle in the city of your choice to win a dinner for two at a noteworthy restaurant and tickets for two to a concert at a prominent local venue. We have incredible partners in New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Nashville, Las Vegas, Charleston, Asheville, and Ardmore, Pennsylvania, who have donated a meal for two and two tickets to a concert of the winner's choice. And all donations help fund our fellowship programs, where we're helping to build essential workforce readiness skills and food system storytelling skills. Check out heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. That's heritageradionetwork.org/15. Thank you.
My name is Brandon Hoy, co-owner of Roberta's, a super duper awesome place. Roberta's is a very, 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 very proud sponsor of the Heritage Radio Network. We're also super awesome. Thank you, Heritage.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network, broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. If you like this program, visit heritageradionetwork.org for thousands more.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America, from border to border, coast to coast, and all the ships at sea. Streaming live from the County of Kings, Brooklyn, New York City, on the Heritage Radio Network. Are you ready for the fastest half hour on the internet today? It's the Mike and Judy Show, spanning the globe for high-minded hijinks and lowbrow kinks to bring you the best in sex, drugs, rock and roll, and nuclear fission. They're too bad for radio and too good-looking for television. And now, here they are, America's last best hope to make the internet safe for absolutely no one. Two people who will do pretty much anything for a pizza. Your hosts, Mike Edison and Judy McGuire.
Welcome, Mike.
Welcome, Judy. I don't know if you noticed there's a pork chop on the breakfast menu at Roberta's today.
Did you have that pork chop?
I saw it go by. I almost grabbed it. I'm thinking about it after the show.
They're like
amazing.
Flintstone pork chops. They're huge.
Whoa. It was a beautiful thing. It's, the first time I ever had a pork chop with breakfast, I was in Chicago. Being, a nice Jewish boy from New York, I don't see a lot of pork chops as a breakfast option. But when I was in the south side of Chicago one time, it was like, eggs with bacon, sausage, or pork chop.
Well, for Spiro, that would be bacon, sausage, and pork chop.
But that
and
was
some
my
scrapple.
That was my pork chop epiphany. So every time I see a pork chop with breakfast, I get kind of all flutter.
I think you're in Chicago.
Man, oh man, oh man. Things are looking good here at Roberta's. The kale pizza's looking pretty good, too. That would be the very definition of postmodernism, right? That kale is now popular.
I think I'm overkill. Anyway,
Overkill. It could be my new heavy metal band, Overkill. My vegan heavy metal band.
I was talking to our beautiful guest while you were indisposed.
Who's charming. His charming laugh was already
illuminating the studio.
Funny, I'm sorry.
And I think she's our most recurring guest, isn't she?
Possibly. You're on the short list.
Thank you.
And she was on our highest rated show, too.
How about that?
Yeah.
You are a wonderkind.
Oh.
A juggernaut.
Oh, hush.
A
No, keep going.
As Joe Franklin would say, Judy, she's bigger than big. She's big.
She is Miss Maura Johnston.
All right. Maura Johnston,
hello.
Formerly the music editor at the Village Voice, and currently the progenitor and proprietor and pioneer of Maura magazine, really at the very vanguard of publishing. Hi, Maura. Good to see you.
Hello. Nice to see you. Nice to be here. It's very exciting. I took some time out from being in the vanguard to,
The vanguard. Well, Village Voice hasn't really been in the vanguard for quite some time.
Well, no, I mean now. That's the past. Let's not talk about the past.
Yeah, they're over.
Unless you're saying, of course, the Mike and Judy show is a break from the
No,
vanguard.
no. I'm saying, we are joined together in this new exciting paradigm.
You mean the digital holocaust?
Digital.
But it's funny. Like Maura has a new magazine. Why don't you tell us what is so unusual about Maura magazine? Can I go get it at the newsstand?
You cannot.
Oh, Grandma.
Well, which newsstand? It depends on which newsstand you're talking about.
Ooh.
Actually, So Maura Magazine is a new, I guess we're going to have our 10th issue this week. And it's a weekly publication with cultural reporting and criticism. And it is available right now only through the iOS newsstand. So you can download it onto your iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch. And then you'll get updates every week. You can buy a single issue for 99 cents, a monthly subscription for $2.99 a month, or a yearly subscription for $29.99 a year.
That's what's wrong with journalism today.
What?
I
said you.
iPhone, iPad, iTouch.
So if you're one of those Samsung
See, it's
things,
just become so selfish.
Well, but this is the thing. Like, I'm working with this company, 29th Street Publishing, who have been amazing and who developed the app. And right now, the iTunes App Store is just like the best way to do this. They're working on ways to do it in other venues, but they just offer this like really streamlined solution to get people paid, and that's
key.
That's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, I could put, I've been doing blogging and stuff like since 1994, but this is like a way to have and sustain really interesting.
Isn't that always
journalism.
a question for every blogger has? How do I monetize this?
Yeah. And so I'm just like, well, this is one way. Here's how I'm doing
it. I want to just write for exposure.
Oh,
well, we've all seen those offers. So looking for writers.
I want someone to give me a pork chop for exposure. I'll tell everyone how great that pork chop was.
Can you put on a new roof on my house for exposure, please?
Yeah.
Well, we've been being paid in pizza for quite some time here at the Mike and Judy Show.
This is a labor of love. It's different.
It's a 501c, and should say if you want to make a contribution to the Mike and Judy Show via the Heritage Radio Network, membership is encouraged. $60 gets you all sorts of wonderful things. Make sure to check us out, and it's tax deductible. We're legit.
Yeah, but so you actually pay writers, and pay writers better than some, old Vanguard. Well, not Vanguard sites. So it's like some sites that have been around and have a lot more money behind them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, part of this, the subscription is sort of a way to aid this, because right now, the way that people make money off the internet with like banner ads and stuff is just so screwy and weird. And like, you can have like these sites that have millions of page views, but they're not making money because they're either running like crappy remnant ads or, they're just not doing their ad model properly. And so with the subscription model right now, it's, it's built in where if you pay me 99 cents, I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 good pieces, and that's like, okay, 25 cents a pop. That's like, you can play Miss Pac-Man for like 5 minutes or something.
Are you kidding? Maura Magazine is the great marketing example of putting a dime bag's worth into a nickel bag.
It's true.
That's it. You exceed expectations.
It's true. That's what I try to do,
So you're an avid reader of Maura, Judy. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your Maura experience.
My Maura experience, I was a little spazzy with the app at first, and I was like, why? I'm a subscriber. Why am I just getting the same issue?
Yeah. We're working on some user interface kinks, but, again, it's a learning process for sure.
But also, if you're smart and you dig around a little bit, I'm not that clever with the internet things. So it took me a little while. There was a little bit of a learning curve. But I love it. I love that I can get it and read it when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, because I always sleep with my phone.
What are you saying? I sleep with my phone, too. I read
too.
on the phone. But I've been reading it on the subway.
Oh, yeah. It's really great for the subway, because once you just download one issue, then you have all
quick
the
and short pieces.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Number. Like I said, when I first opened it up, I was very surprised. We know you, of course, as a music journalist, and you're quite famous for being a music journalist. But Maura Magazine, I was reading Steve Earlywine's story about television trends, which was great.
Yeah.
But a little academic even, a little bit egghead, kind of like new critical theory sort of thing going on there. It wasn't just tossed off reviews of records or anything. It's a very thoughtful package.
Thank you.
And
thanks.
So you get 4 writers a week, 4 pieces a week.
Yep.
That's a lot of work. 4 times a week is quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot. But again, it's better work because, when I was at previous jobs that I've had, I have been in charge of like anywhere from like 12 to 16 pieces a day.
Right.
With the voice, it was a little slower. It was like 5 to 8, plus the print obligations. But, you sort of like cut corners. And I think with this, where you have like these 4 or 5 pieces that are just really thoughtfully written and edited, usually there's, an editing process that with back and forths with the writers, which I think is great because you get to really get down. I know. It's a lost art these days, right? Who does
you're
that?
just supposed to take my copy and do whatever you want with it, even if you completely change the meaning.
No. that I don't like too, because that's
Yeah.
the worst thing. Like, there's
horrible.
no like, I mean, it's so funny because people are like, "Why'd you name it after yourself? Are you an egomaniac?" And I'm like, "Well, I had Maura.com since like 1996, and I figured this would be like a really nice,
I
just
love the
convenient.
name.
What could be better?
And
What
then
could be
like,
better?
but it's if you look at it, it's like I don't want to like impose a worldview onto the writers. I just want them to put out their best work, and that's all.
Would you publish anything by someone who hated Enlightened?
Yes.
Oh,
Of course. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't post, like anyone who likes Enlightened is an idiot, because then I would take that very personally.
then we'd have to beat them.
Yes, exactly. But, it's about the multiplicity of viewpoints, and I think that that's something that's lost in the new internet, with like everyone sort of buzz feeding it up and being like 32 things that everyone thinks are funny. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't think.
Well,
this is funny.
that's sort of where it's gone, right?
Yeah,
We talk about this
yeah.
forever. It's like chasing clicks is the new journalism.
Yeah.
And it's just traffic. And, perhaps had you run a few more stories in the Kardashians, maybe you'd still be at the Village Voice.
No, I
Miss
wouldn't.
Johnston. I mean, but that's the way it's going,
Yeah.
and it's so shameful. You're doing such good work, and
Thank you.
I know for a history of the underground jazz in New York, right? That was a wonderful
Yeah.
story. I mean, honestly, that's a niche story. I mean, everybody should read it. Everybody who lives in New York and is around the '80s, even you, Judy. I know how you feel about jazz, but
My
it's-
mom used to sing in jazz clubs. I would read it.
but that's it. That's our shared history. It's
Yeah.
a cultural, milestone or touching point or whatever. It's a very important era, but nothing is going to.
Well, it
no
can
one's
get
gonna
lost
click
in the
through,
shuffle too,
No one's going
right?
to click through that like they're going to click through why Seth MacFarlane needs to be neutered and tarred and feathered.
Which I don't disagree with, but anyway, but
Me
like,
neither.
but I think I
Yes.
saw a piece today about on this site called Sports on Earth, which is sort of like MLB.com. Former employer, I will put that disclaimer in there, but it's their like essay site now, and it was by this guy Will Leach, who used to edit Deadspin. He was the
Right.
founding editor of the Gawker Media sports blog Deadspin, and it was about this site called Bleacher Report, which is the preferred sort of sports network now for Turner, and which just again like specializes in like clickbait and really just being and the thing was like Bleacher Report replaced Sports Illustrated as Turner's partner, and it's like obviously like part of that was corporate synergy, because I think there was like a split between Time Inc. and Turner, and there was all this stuff. But again, like it just speaks to like the idea of what quality is and what quality means in 2013.
Well, I saw an ad for because I've been looking for work, and I saw an ad that BuzzFeed is looking for an editor for cute kitten videos, like not cute animal
Associate
videos.
Animals editor,
Yeah.
Please list me as a recommendation when you apply for this job.
You know what? I thought about applying for it. Then I thought, like, I'm going to be the oldest person to ever be the cute animal video editor. And I really, like, I'm stupid enough as it is. I really don't need to spend my entire day looking at kitten videos.
You sort of live in
But
one.
and
I do.
the annoying thing too is that like I mean I give BuzzFeed no endless amounts of crap, but like they also have like good writing on
Yeah,
their
they
site.
do.
They have Steve Kandel, who used to work at Spin, editing these like really long form, these thoughtful long form pieces. They have this woman Kate Arthur, who like I respect immensely, heading up their entertainment coverage and getting these like she had this great interview with Amy Sherman Palladino, who created Gilmore Girls and Bunheads, and it was this really insightful interview. But it's just like when you have part of your brand, and this happened when I was at Idolater, especially when you have part of your brand that sort of like goes viral in like whatever way that sticks with you for life. Like even when like Idolater was doing more like less snark for snark's sake stuff, and people would still be like, oh well, it's snarky, and I would be like, well, have you read it? But the same thing with BuzzFeed, where it's like the kitten videos and the
Which
lists,
are entertaining.
which are but like they overtake the
Yeah.
they overtake the brand in this negative way, and it's like we're all just looking at the same like dumb crap.
I know by 4:00 somebody sends you that kitten video. You're like, I saw this at like 11:30.
Yeah.
Come on.
Have you noticed? I mean, you guys all read Gawker, and obviously all the Gawker sites, but Gawker specifically, it's become very, to me, one-dimensional. The writing seems to be like one riff hammered and hammered over again, even amongst the various bylines. The tone is so monolithic that I've lost interest. It just seems not to be as flavorful as it used
I
to be.
disagree. I think that they actually have a lot of really good writers right now.
I think they're all good writers, but I think somehow
Yeah.
being in that same site, it's that level of snarkiness and the style and the self-aware irony has just become contagious on the site. It's
I
hard
don't
for me
know
to
though,
read.
because it's like I think again, like you have the whole like Neitz and Zimmerman and other people who are doing like the constant beats, but then you have the longer pieces like Camille Dodaro, who I used to work with at The Voice. Like she just had a piece that was really good about this young girl who has progeria and who like
Oh
became
my God,
this,
that
like,
was a
internet.
really great
Yeah,
story.
she became this like meme. She and like people were like terrible to her. And Camille, Camille has She wrote about the Juggalos for The Voice, and she wrote about that Is Anyone Up guy, and she wrote about a lot of other things. She's very interested in like the sort of people who are summarily looked down upon in the world. And I thought that piece, I mean, it was a tough piece because it was like, it was about basically how humans can be the worst and how humans on the internet can really dehumanize people. And I think she's great. I love Max Reed's writing. And I really, and Rich Dizwiak is always holding it down for really good music. Like the show that I went to last night in the Bronx, the freestyle show. What's up, Brenda K. Starr?
Do you even remember Brenda K. Starr the first time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
I'm thinking, oh, you kids.
No, I used to listen to that stuff all the time. That was like my radio, like, when the Cover Girls did Show Me last night. I mean, and it's the Cover Girls. It's like one replacement member of the Cover Girls. I mean, some of these bands are like LA Gun status of,
right.
of Split. But like, it was like one replacement member of the Cover Girls and then two younger women who had joined the band in 2001. But when they did Show Me, I was just like, oh. It was like perfect, yeah.
Well, speaking of new music, we're going to hear one of your new faves. Can you tell us?
So one of my new probably my favorite album of the year right now. And it's not out for another 2 weeks, but it'll start streaming on NPR tomorrow. Actually, is the new album by Marnie Stern, The Chronicles of Marnia. It's called Marnie Stern is this really amazing guitar player who has this like very intricate Eddie Van Halen-ish technique. But she also just does these songs that are like so life affirming, and even when she's like trying to figure out like what is wrong with the world or her or the things in between, it's just this really like giddy, I want to figure out everything about life. It's actually, I think, the perfect musical companion, even though it's so like manic and high energy. It's the perfect musical companion to Enlightened for me, because it really feels like the questions that have you talked about Enlightened on the show yet? Oh, no. Well, its finale is tonight, and I'm very excited. Enlightened is the best show.
Boy,
it's
so
on
in the dark.
HBO.
I'm so out at sea with this.
It's So do you know about it at all? Do you know about my incessant like campaign to save it?
It's such a good show. Mike Smith, the interview.
Mike White, yeah.
Mike White. Ugh,
yeah.
Those white guy names. The interview he did with New York Magazine this week, where he said the problem is like women are interested in stories about men and women, and men are only interested in men's stories.
Yep.
So
true.
So sad.
Yeah, very sad.
But we should get to the song so we can
Okay,
take a break and eat some pizza.
All right, from Mike and Judy, Maura, Johnston. Here we go.
With conviction,
hey, you kids, get off my lawn.
Oh, Mike.
I just don't know any circumstance in which I would play that music in my
I
home.
have not been able to stop listening to this record to the detriment of my other professional obligations, actually. So, yeah.
I love your enthusiasm. I love that your taste in music is so Catholic with a small C.
Thank you.
But I guess I'm out of the demographic. I think that would be good music for one of the kitten videos when you get your new job. That would be good to partner with a kitten video.
I'm not applying for that goddamn job.
You'd be so good at it, though.
I know. It would be fun.
Is it about time? You could make your own videos and sort of pump them in.
Oh my God, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
seed
cuteness
it.
there. There's a lot of cuteness. I could turn Oscar into the new Winston.
Ooh.
Rest in peace.
Oscar
At
could be the
least
new
his
Oscar
video.
Wilde.
Yeah.
So speaking of cats and magazines and fanzines, I was in Kim's on Avenue A, or First Avenue rather, yesterday. The video and CD store, and in the front there were some mimeograph fanzines.
Oh, wow.
And I got so excited to see like a genuine like old not even saddle stitched, right?
Yeah.
Just like sloppily stapled on 8.5 by 11 copy paper.
Nice.
And I think it was called the Meow-gazine. Okay, so it's like
It was a cat.
was
The
the
printed
fanzine.
internet.
right? And I was, I'm so going to support this. I'm so going to buy this, right? It was $12.
What?
Okay, it was $11.99. At which point, I put my wallet back in my pocket, Jew that I am. But seriously,
That's not being
it
Jew,
should have
that's
been
being practical.
$3. I was so plopping my money down to support
Even
the
$5.
Meow-gazine. $5, you probably would have had me.
This is the gentrification of cats right here.
Okay, but seriously, it was maybe 16 pages,
Yeah.
stapled, and it looked like it was a product of the local, mental asylum.
And no videos.
No videos.
You can't embed anything on paper.
And it didn't have one of those. What do you call it? When you
The
turn
QR codes?
No, when you change
Oh,
when you
QR
turn
code,
the
you're so hip.
page
Like
and it moves.
View, Magic
Oh,
Potion.
yeah.
That would have been worth it.
Or even a fold-in,
Well,
you know?
I guess it's
Even a
charm.
kitten stapled to
I guess
it.
its charm lied in the fact that it was such a disaster. But then I saw there was another mimeograph punk rock zine, sort of with the same production values, and it was also $12. And what there is right now, actually, there is a nice movement of like new literary magazines,
Yeah, definitely.
like gorgeous boutique literary magazines that I don't mind. I guess maybe The Believer was one of the first. And
Yeah.
Paris Review is back. Our friends at Electric Literature do a wonderful job. I have no problem dropping $10 or $15 on something like that that's so gorgeous. But this was just like, this is what fanzine culture has become.
But it's funny because I went to a fair over the summer at Pete's Candy Store in Williamsburg, and I went to this zine and comic fair, and I bought a bunch of zines and comics, and some of them were very, very nicely produced, and they were only they were $10, and they were nice. And then there's this woman whose stuff I love, Cassie Snyder. Do you know her? She is born and bred on Long Island, and she does a series called The Worst, this reading series, and she puts out really, really great comics, and they're very, again, price to move, and really just good. And but I think with that, it's also is there a play? Is it the fact that it's about cats and it's expensive? Is it this whole meta joke on
I was wondering the same
the world?
Sort of thing. It reminded me a little bit of Louis Buñuel, right, the surrealist filmmaker, talked about opening the world's most expensive bar on Gran Via in Madrid. On the Gran Via, and it was going to be called El Canon, the Cannon, right? And it was going to be $100 for a cocktail, and it was $300 drinks. And the idea was if you spent $5,000, they'd blow off the cannon. And he's constantly, right? That was the meta, as he said, of the bar. So he said, I'll be sitting in my house, and every time that cannon goes off, I'll just know another asshole spent $5,000 at my bar.
And now that stuff is the fodder of trend stories in Time Out New York and New York Magazine. It's look, another $1,400 cocktail with gold leaf and foie gras that's been blended into it. I don't know.
If you go to a bar, I guess, not that we would go to these kind of bars, with a bottle service, a stupid bottle of booze is $500, and then you've
It's been
got
like that
some-
for a long time.
Well,
bottle service,
did
table
you know
service,
also
lounge.
that with the Bloomberg soda ban, now the size of bottles of cranberry juice is limited to 12 ounces or whatever.
Well, you say cranberry juice, but what you basically mean is high fructose corn syrup,
Right, but
colored
I mean-
red,
but,
with some cranberry skulking around somewhere in a factory.
Sure, but it's a fine mixer if you're going to be that if these people are going to go all the way and pay $500 for a bottle like Grey Goose and
You deserve to pay $12 for your shot of cranberry juice.
I liked it when I got you a Bloody Mary before. The bartender here at Roberta said, "Would you like vodka or aquavit?"
Ooh, did you get?
Well, I went for the vodka because
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
discussed it,
That's
so
good,
I erred on the side of safety there.
Next time I'll get the aquavit.
So here's my question for you: If Morrissey were to write a story for Maura magazine, and he said, "I cannot have any meat eaters," in this week's magazine, are you going to comply?
No. That's so dumb. Wait, so how did that end up working out anyway? With the the meat eating and the not, because I heard it was like all
Jimmy
meatless,
Fallon doesn't negotiate with terrorists, just like the United States of America.
I mean, my friend Zach wrote a piece for Noisy that I thought was really spot on. It's like we're sticking up for reality superstars. I mean, Morrissey is a cranky old bitch, and he makes the Staples Center go vegan. He made Colbert's set go vegan for the day, and who knows if they really do?
Right.
I would probably eat bacon.
Well, Morrissey's compliance cops must be out in force. But but the part about that story was you said we stood up for the reality star guys. I wasn't taking sides. Never was I asked to take a side, or was he trying? Am I trying to be polarized beside the duck guys? Who are pretty funny and they have a TV show and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not taking their sides. I'm just sort of saying, wow, to make a demand like that, so you need to rebook your show on a moment's notice too.
Yeah,
right.
That was not cool.
Okay?
That was very unprofessional. Although sometimes they don't even know who the guests are until the last minute. But I mean, like he said in the piece, Morrissey is has beliefs. As much as I'm not a vegan, he actually had Rihanna isn't going to go no, we can't have whatever fun. She tried that, I heard, right? You weren't on the plane, were you?
Oh, I was not on the plane. I heard about the plane. I had some friends who were on the plane. I was at first I was like, oh, I'm sad I didn't get invited on the plane. And then by day 3, I was like, whoa, dude, I would not have lived on that plane.
I thought it was all made up. I just thought it was some one of these internet hoaxes. And all of a sudden I realized, because I knew people on the plane too.
Yeah.
Who, wanted to be on the plane because it was a plum gig.
Right. Initially it was. And
until
then,
the toilets back up or whatever.
Until the Australian goes streaking down the aisle, Well,
so we only have a couple minutes, but I want to get people to subscribe to Maura.
Yes.
Tell us, what do you have coming up? I think you have a party coming up.
We do have a party.
Can anyone come?
Anyone can come.
And which borough is it in, Maura?
It's in Manhattan. It's Thursday night. We're celebrating the 10th issue. I know that other people wait 10 years, but I figured it's the internet. Time moves fast. 10 issues. Let's do it. But no, I want this to be the first of a bunch of events around the country and all over the place. So it's at Arrow Bar. It's from 8 to 12. And it'll have readers, including me and Nick Murray, who is my former colleague at The Voice, who will be contributing to the 10th issue, which comes out Thursday. And Brad Nelson, who wrote about Texas is the Reason, and who is the copy editor, actually, for the magazine. We
it's
even have
so
a copy editor.
Copy editor on a digital web-based iTunes thing.
It's true.
There'll be there mistake.
No, there will not be. And we have a style book. It's very exciting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very professional Maura magazine.
I try to be professional.
I love Maura magazine. I love Maura.
Thank you.
I love Maura the person. I love Maura the magazine.
Me too.
Thank you.
It's a Maura love fest.
Can I tell people how to get it if they want to see?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you want to check it out, you can either go to the iTunes store and search on my name, which is Maura, for those of you who might think that it might be with an O. Or you can just go to maura.com/app, APP, and that will redirect you right to the page on the iTunes store where you can buy it, and you can download the app, get a free issue, and then you can subscribe from within the app or buy back issues. We had some really great stuff. We had Andy Beta, who's one of my favorite writers. He wrote a piece on football and instant replay and dub music and the relationship between the three. Chris Ott, who you may know from his cranky videos and his opinions on everything related to music, wrote a really great piece about the My Bloody Valentine record. We had the oral history of the band Unwound by Brad Cohen. This week, the lead story is about the new crop of female swimmers who are competing at the elite level, who are all in their teens.
I have to say, I opened up my new issue of Maura magazine, and I saw a story on female swimmers as the lead piece, and I was pretty knocked out by that.
Yeah. It's so cool that there's everything. There's TV, there's sports for people, I'm assuming, who aren't big sports fans normally. Music. I love it. It makes me feel a little younger.
Oh, thanks.
Really? Well, anything that can make Judy feel younger is welcome. And once again, it's been the fastest half hour on the internet today.
What are we going out with, Maura?
Are we going out?
I don't know. Do we have any cute?
Do we have the Prince song?
Do we ever get the Prince queued up? I don't think we could find it. I think
no. Prince was. Prince has been,
But a nice bit of pop music, that new Prince thing, right?
Yeah,
Screwdriver.
yeah.
You were there at Ground Zero, right?
I saw the Fallon taping on Friday night, and it was really amazing. He played with his new band. This was his first TV appearance with the new band, Third Eye Girl, the three lady band.
Yeah, they got a lot of style.
And you could eat bacon in there too.
I think so. I think there was no bacon served, but I'm sure if I asked nicely.
Oh, he's a Jehovah's Witness though, so maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would actually let the Jehovah's in if Prince and Coco Roca came to my door.
All right. For Judy McGuire, I'm Mike Edison, Maura Johnston, and Joe the Engineer. Thank you guys. Here we are on the Heritage Radio Network. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a non-profit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.
Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.